It's exactly what you said. Like when there is only one seat available for something, or one specific location for something, and you see that they have juxtaposed more than one item in it. That's what juxtaposition is. But the point is this. These comments are not to say that your writing is bad. These comments are to say and to give you an idea about how you can make your writing so much better.
Okay.
And my philosophy of discussing writing comes from very simple point. What are you trying to say? When we ask ourselves in each one of the paragraphs what we are trying to say, and we try to explain that again to the listeners, that is exactly what I want you to write down. Because sometimes our intention is mistranslated. Sometimes our intentions are misinterpreted. That's why we always say هذا مو قصدي، أنا ما أقصد هذا الشيء. لأن هناك فرق بين القصد واللغة الناقلة للقصد.
مفهوم.
That's why when we are writing, people don't hear us. When we write, people don't listen to us. When we write, people don't see us. When we write, people don't feel us. So all of the senses are dead.
Yes.
Except for the sense of visualization, if that is a sense and out of itself. So what we need to do, we're trying to juxtapose all of these senses in our writing.
Okay.
Believe it or not, sometimes I engage in writing to a point that I cry when I write certain sentences, just because I want to convey the real emotions to the person that I am talking to. So it is important to keep that in mind, that writing is well, when we read, we lack all of the senses that are accessible to us in daily communication. So it is very important to replace that or find a substitute for this particular case here. Are we clear so far?
Yes, we are clear.
I want you to just go through, I think, going back to my point that I mentioned here, my philosophy is, what are you trying to say? Sometimes phrasing and structure in sentences do not go in alignment. That does not go in alignment with what we are thinking of. There is no necessity to have our thoughts go in accordance with our words. So it's actually problematic sometimes. However, that does not mean that we lack the basic communication skills. Not at all. We're just trying to find an alternative ways of saying it. And just a quick reminder that whatever we write today, maybe we will laugh at tomorrow. It is just because writing evolves and grows because our experiences and become better. That's why we change our thoughts. We replace them. We adopt different thoughts and different philosophy.
Yes.
At this point, I will have to shut up and go back to task number 1. In our discussion of tonight, we will review task 1 for task completion. Do you see my comments in the top page? We will review task
1 for task completion.
Now, why do this particularly? Why do we do this? Why do we just focus on one aspect? And what is task completion?
Task completion, it means to complete what we have started before about the philosophy of writing well. You mean that?
Yeah, but why did I say task completion? How is this relevant to what you need to work on?
Mm-hmm.
How is this relevant, Sama?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I talk about task completion? What's the point?
Because I didn't reach to the level that you want me to reach it about writing.
No,
Mm-hmm.
no, that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a, well, that is a good answer for a different question.
Mm-hmm.
Let me sound a little bit diplomatic and do not frustrate you here.
Okay.
Why do I focus on task completion or task achievement here?
Let me try another answer because I didn't follow all the instructions that you taught
You don't
me.
have to necessarily follow all the instructions,
Mm-hmm.
but I just want you to stick to my question here. Why do I ask, why do I talk about task completion or task achievement?
Mm. I don't know.
Okay, well, that's the best answer. That's
Mm-hmm.
Plato's answer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the answer is here. Do you see the table that I just posted?
Yes, I see
Okay.
it.
What do you see in the table?
I see that our target is the band 9, and there is task achievement,
Okay.
coherence, and yes.
Okay, let's just stop here. What is the major top number one point to assess students on?
Let me make it bigger than this small picture.
You're getting
This,
older.
yeah, yes, for many years.
Still young.
Um, just by the numbers,
Okay.
but the sense
Well,
is another thing. Well,
okay.
number one is fully satisfies all the requirements of the task, and
Um,
number two, yes,
okay. Now, as we say in English, everything has a reason. Uh, when I
yes,
said when I said task achievement or task completion, let's change completion to achievement. I like
yes. Okay.
completion, not that more than achievement,
Mm-hmm.
because achievement is just doesn't tell me exactly what achievement is. But completion,
Well,
it says, well, he completed what I wanted him to complete.
and the achievement it is the same if we say goal, task
Yeah, but
goals.
it's like in jazz. But completion هو
Yes,
إكمال. I
yes.
think of it
Okay.
as ikmal, like you have told me to do 1 and 2 and 3, and I've
Yes.
done 1 and 2 and 3, and that is pretty much summarizing what I want to to say here.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So this is pretty much the point that I'm focusing on here.
Yes. So fully satisfies of all the requirements of the task.
Mhm.
And if we make matching for my task or my trial of writing task one, there is no satisfying for all the task.
No, this is not the point. The point is, I want you to go through these comments,
Mm-hmm.
and um, I'm assessing you based on 4 major components: task completion or achievement, coherence and cohesion,
Mm-hmm.
lexical resource, and grammatical range and accuracy. If I assess you on all of these all together at the same time, it's going to be mess.
Mm-hmm.
And so, due to the fact that I have a very simplified and simple mind, I cannot multitask on so many things, and that is going to overwhelm you. So, we need to go through each one of them
Mm-hmm.
separately um, to get to a point of understanding of what writing is and how we can do it better.
That's suitable for me.
Okay, I'm very happy that you liked it that way,
Mm-hmm.
but just keep in mind that sometimes it's not clear. Sometimes it's just not to say that I am perfect or something,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes it is not like you have your own style and I do have my own style.
Mm-hmm.
So we sometimes go through some mismatch here and there, but that's okay. People are different, and we embrace differences here. So it is not necessarily meaning that you're wrong and I'm right, or I'm right and you're right, or whatever. The idea is that we have these 4 sub-skills, and we are checking them one by one in order to satisfy the requirements, the simple requirements of the IELTS exam and IELTS test. So that is the point that I want to say here, and let's magnify that a little bit here. Now, the question that pops up here is some people think that the government is wasting money on arts, and that money could be better spent elsewhere. To what extent do you agree with this statement? To what extent do you agree with this statement? So the point is whether you agree or disagree, and building on that particular topic to a better understanding and a better defense here. Okay?
Okay.
Now, let's move to see here at this point. You see the word for example. Do you see it?
At the end of the paragraph?
No. The first paragraph, it is necessary to realize that government has to expense some of the
general budget on
so
important sectors.
What is this? And I want you to just explain it to me, and then I'll give you some feedback on task completion and any minor grammatical typos and errors here and there. I'm not going to say whether this is right or wrong. I'm just going to say it is necessary to realize that the government has to spend some money or allocate some money, because the word spend is not that quite as academic as allocate, for from the general budget on important sectors, period. For example, supporting healthcare system, not the healthcare system. Supporting healthcare system. Teaching system is different from schools or education in general, so you need to replace that. Military, industry, and agriculture. In addition to military, industry, and agriculture. Furthermore, government has to aid other aspects such as sports and art. Now, to this point, you have juxtaposed so many things in your plate, and it's really hard to develop a good defense of these altogether. Your style is really highly commendable, but there is the necessity to stick to the rubrics, and the rubrics are very simple. It says task achievement. In order to get band 9, you have to fully satisfy all the requirements of task. Clearly present a fully developed response. When we talk about a fully developed response, we're referring back to the details that you will add here. Now you are talking about agriculture, industry, and military, and teaching systems, and government, and sports, and art. I don't think there is a necessity for that at this moment. You just need to focus particularly on art, and why art should be giving attention or should not be given attention. And people are not going to judge you whether you support art or you are totally against art. The point is to develop a good defense mechanism here for this particular purpose. I don't think there is a necessity for that. So just keep that in mind, Osama. Just keep that in mind. What we are doing here, we're just developing one idea per paragraph. My teacher Jennifer told me for every paragraph you have to have one idea. If you have more than one idea, it's going to be really messy and complicated. People can't catch their breath when you write such a long paragraph. This is a very good sample of writing in Arabic context. But حتى بالعربي احنا نقول خير الكلام ما زاد وكثر لو ما قل ودل.
ما قل ودل.
Perfect. So it's people tend to say less to mean more. That's why احنا بالانجليزي دائما quotes تحمل الناس تتذكرها لان memorable لانها short ولانها to the point. ما يتذكرون يعني I have a dream مال مارتن لوثر كينج الخطاب اللي هو ساعة تقريبا هيك شيء يتذكرون بس I have a dream لأن هذا بيها implications بيها connotations بيها meaning. فالفكرة شنو just keep it simple, try to focus on your major ideas here, but try to develop and cement them. هنا for example احنا من نكتب thesis statement نتحدث عن statement thesis defense انه لازم تقول انه الفن هو عنصر مهم من حياة البشرية.
نعم.
والحكومة لازم تخصص whatever budget you think of in the statement. بس ما تنطق examples. احنا قلنا point هذا paragraph, illustrate paragraph, give examples paragraphs. Okay. الكومنتس اللي here أنا ذاكر لك إنه كلمة expense تشوفها اللي هسه صارت بالbold yellow.
Yes.
هذه يعني has to spend money, but to expense is not a correct verb that can be used here. FYI for your information. So what are you going to use instead of this word? What are you going to use instead of this word?
Allocate.
Just write it down. So should we say allocate like this?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now, at this point, you're fully satisfying my appetite to have a good paragraph so far. Now, I am not going to go through all the fine microscopic details here. Punctuation is really important to Sama, and you need to bear that in mind. Like, for example, here, for example, is not punctuated correctly. If you go to grammatical range and accuracy, uses a wide range of structures with full flexibility and accuracy. فكلمة accuracy تشمل punctuation. يعني your writing should be accurate. Otherwise, you're going to be marked down. Are we clear? So I expect a cleaner version of this essay in our next draft. And think about it. We don't have to write tens of essays. We just need to understand how to write the framework, the structure, and the content clearly and how do we say that? Clearly and what's the word? Accurately. Okay? Now let's move. I left this space that you see here because I didn't want the comments to be all in traffic jam here. Perfect. Hello. هسه to assess the value of spending money on art, we have to understand the art first. Why do we need to understand art? This is not part of the statement. They are just saying, do you agree or disagree? Stick to that. Give defense about it. You do not need to give me an introduction in the history of art or what art is.
But I'm not allowed to say I agree or I disagree. So how I will start?
No.
My
You
defense?
can.
I can.
Yes, of course. Like they are saying, do you agree or disagree? That's
But
the
you
statement.
told me, Mr. Walid, don't use I because it will refer to the selfness.
It's the overuse of it. Like, do not use 10 I's in the essay because you do not need to show your ego you can just simply say, it is well known that the value of art outweighs the value of allocations on army. This is in the beginning, and this sets the mood of people to a higher level of expectations. But when you just say, I agree, thank you so much for this question of the essay. The question of the essay is very smart and intelligent. I'm smart, and I will talk about it in details here. This is not like the kind of expected academic writing that they want. Academic writing is using lots of passive voice because it's more attributive. It just pushes the accusation. It pushes the focus from the subject to the object, to the content. We're not talking about you. We are giving value to art more than giving value to the person who's talking about art. And that has some kind of good impression if you just follow that correctly here. Going back to my point, to assess the value of spending money on art, we have to understand art first. I said stick to the topic. Here you are telling the reader that you are making a detour يعني تحويلة مؤقتة, and will not address the topic amply. يعني هنا مجرد تقول أنا حتى نقيم قيمة المبالغ المصروفة على الفن.
نعم لازم نفهم الفن أولا.
Okay, احنا بالإنجليزي نقول we have to understand art first in order to assess the value of money spent on it. بالعكس فهذا الانفرجن يصير هيجي بهذه الطريقة.
تأخير نعم.
Okay. So we say to I'm not going to spoon feed you with writing. I just want you to understand that and develop a mechanism. Let me just make the font a bit bigger so it seems clear to the viewers.
To the older man like me.
Oh, you're not old. Old is in the eye of the beholder. Feeling of old. أكو مثل بالإنجليزي يقول beauty is in the eye of the beholder. عندنا مثل بالعربي يقول القرد بعين أم غزال. فإحنا بس حنبدل نقول feeling old is in the eye of the beholder. Like you feel old just because you feel old. It's your problem. I don't see that you're old. You're just
No, I'm not feeling I'm old. Alhamdulillah.
Okay, beautiful.
Okay.
Art represents the shiny picture of nations. The word nations is not capitalized because it's like this word talks about all nations probably, and it's not one nation. So why do we talk, Sama? Why do we talk about nations? Is it the United Nations?
No.
Okay, so just don't capitalize that word. Just make it, yeah.
Okay.
أسامة خلي أحكي لك هذه القصة صارت وياي بالكلية يعني إحنا ليش نحسين الأجانب مو إحنا أنا لا أمريكي ولا بريطاني وهكذا. الأجانب نحسين على موضوع التنقيط لأنه التنقيط يغير المعنى 180 درجة.
نعم.
خاصة بالكتابة. Okay.
نعم.
Okay, so خلينا ناخذ هذه الفكرة وبعدين راح أعطيك مثال.
نعم.
على هذا الموضوع تحديدا. Okay, نرجع هنا للمثال مالتنا. Art represents the shiny picture of nations. أريد تعدل عليها. عندك إمكانية تعدل عليها؟
Art represents the shiny picture of nations and a mirror of the intellectual and cultural projects of both ancient and as well as the current people.
بالمناسبة أنا ما مستعجل يعني ما مضطر إنه أنت يعني تقنعني بجملة يعني take your time if you need like 30 seconds to think about how to rephrase it. أنا جاي مجرد قاعد أناقش وياك out loud.
حلو. أعتقد يعني هذه كانت أكثر جملة لطيفة ودبلوماسية استخدمها لوصف الفن، يعني أعتقد أنه هي جملة شاملة.
Which one?
When it represents the shiny picture of nations and a mirror of intellectual and cultural projects. أعتقد أبقيها على حالها.
I want you just to change it, but the word intellectual here, كلمة intellectual متى تتلائم ويا products؟ يعني intellectual احنا هو مو منتج.
أنا اللي قصدت به إنه هي مرآة للمنتجات الفكرية والثقافية. الإنتاجات أو النتاجات بالعربي، النتاجات الفكرية والثقافية.
Listen, how do they say that in English? Not how do we translate that into English?
Yes, you are right.
How do they say that in English? I'm asking you, just write it down. How do they say that in
How do they say that in English? Yes. I have to use another word instead of a project.
I'm not talking about product. I'm talking the word
intellectual.
Intellectual. I'll just delete the comment here, but what I want you to do is to replace the word intellectual with another word.
Okay, I will do. Okay. Okay.
Do it now.
Okay. Intellectual. Can I use the humanity؟ يعني أقول إنه هي مرآة للنتاجات الفكرية والإنسانية، الحضارية والإنسانية عفوا.
I mean, we can definitely say art is the mirror of nations' cultural heritage.
الإرث الحضاري.
Or ancient heritage, as well as current. هذه current people يعني مدى تتلائم يعني احنا بالانجليزي يقول I cannot swallow it.
Yes.
متى تنبلع.
نعم.
أسامة على ذكر الكتابة، شوف هذه الجملة. اكو دكتور سأل الطلبة مالته، الطلبة كان هم مجموعة من طبعا هذه يعني هذه احكي لك اياها، وانت يمكن اي موقف بحياتك راح يمر بيك يستوقفك التنقيط راح تتذكر هاي الجملة.
نعم.
الدكتور سأل الطلبة قال لهم هذه جملة كتبها بهاي الطريقة على السبورة، كتب a woman without her man is nothing.
Okay.
قال لهم انطوني punctuation لها اللي هو تنقيط. طبعا رباط السالفة وين؟
نعم.
الإنجليز بصورة عامة يعني الأجانب من يتحدث إنجليزي من يكتب
نعم.
دائما يهتم بالتنقيط، لأن التنقيط يحمل دالات معنوية كثيرة كثيرة كثيرة. آلاف
نعم.
بحوث دكتوراه تجي تحلل كلمة أو كلمتين بنص من خطابات رئاسية مثلا، لأنه بوزن. فالطلبة مقسومين قسمين males and females. الجوي هسه أنت وين أريدك تخلي لي فارزة، هذه الجملة نقصها فارزة، وين تخليها؟
بعد المان.
أوكي شو النسوان اللي بالصف حذفا هاي الولد طبعا خلوها بعد المان، فصارت a woman without her man، المرأة بدون زوجها is nothing أو بدون رجلها no. النسوان جني خلن الفارزة هنا
فصار المان is nothing.
الجملة انقلبت
الرجل بدونها لا شيء.
عفارم عليك. فالفكرة وين؟ انه الجملة هي نفسها، بس هاي الفوارز اللي انت تخليها، كل فارزة تخليها او ما تخليها تلعب دور 180 درجة تقلب الجملة. ممكن يعني احنا ما عندنا نضوج تنقيطي الى مرحلة انه نفهم اللي دا يصير. لكن اذا اجينا استوعبنا الفكرة من هذه الجملة كمثال بسيط، راح تعرف انه التنقيط له دور. يعني يعني هنا مثلا let's eat grandpa. اوكي. هذه يعني خلي شنو معناها؟
دعنا ناكل جدي.
اوكي، هسه انت فهمتها بدون تنقيط، بس هنا الفاعل منه let فعل امر،
نعم.
نحن، eat فعل، grandpa مفعول به. اذا خلينا ناكل جدي. لا، خلينا ناكل جدي.
ناكل يا جدي هي المفروض.
لا هذه شلون هي بالكلام، بس بالكتابة الناس ما تعرف. يعني لازم اكو تنقيط، لازم شو تخلي؟ اي، لان اذا ما خليت الفارزة راح يكون تقدير الجراند با مفعول به، وبالتالي خلينا ناكل جدي،
اصبح الجد هو المأكول. نعم.
اي، في حين اذا خليت فارزة راح يصير منادى.
نعم.
صيغة منادى، يعني يا جدي. فهذا التنقيط هذني مثلا جملتين بسيطات على هذا المفهوم. يعني لازم تنتبه عليه جيدا، لأنه أتمنى هذا المثالين حيكون ينطينك فكرة. لأنه حقيقة التنقيط كلش سيريس، والأجانب كلش سيريس بارد. يعني مرات أنت متابع من تحكي ويا أصدقائك، توجه لهم سؤال ما تخلي علامة استفهام، لأن هو الجملة العربية واضحة. يعني تروحون نتغدى.
نعم.
يعني افتراض، بس الأجانب إذا ما خليت علامة استفهام يضوج، يعني كلش يضوج، لأنه يقول لك يعني هذا سؤال، جملة تصريحية. شنو تقصد؟ يعني مدى نفتهم أنت شنو اللي دا تقصد.
نعم.
فعموما هذا يعني فكرة مبسطة عن punctuation. نجي هذه عدلها. please fix this.
Okay.
Let's go to the next paragraph here. Now the word احنا يعني when we talk English, there are two types of vocabulary that we use. We use the abstract vocabulary like philosophy, feeling, love, and there is the concrete vocabulary اللي هي nouns of verbs. هذه concrete. فكلمة extract احنا إن مدى تقصد عليها؟
Art is the reversal of accumulated feelings of the artist that have been extracted over many years.
Stop here. The word extracted على شنو الدل؟ شنو اللي استخلصت؟
على ال accumulated feelings.
Okay. هذه الفيلينجز يعني هل هي مثلا تقطير محتوى كيميائي؟ كلمة extraction.
I think projects extracted something like these words because of my background as a pharmacist.
Probably. And that's beautiful. Actually, it's very smart. You're adopting some stratagems from your field, and that is of high value if you use them correctly and accurately. الكلمة اللي هم احنا هسه لازقين بها كلمة accurately. ليش؟ لأنه accurate within the context. أنت باختصاصك أنت academic words. So you can adopt. They're going to indicate high value of skills in conversation, which is really good, you know? So art is the result of accumulative. احنا هسه اني وكانما داقره يجي بالي الفن هو نتيجة التراكمات المشاعرية للفنانين التي استخلصت على مر العصور. You're just rhetorically narrating that in English, filtering that into in Arabic, filtering that into the lenses of English with negative transfer اللي هو انتقالات. يعني هاي تتفلتر بس ما تجي دقيقة. ممكن كلمة extracted أنا قلت لك feeling cannot be extracted. Word choice. فهنا من أقول لك word choice, I want you to do it. I am not going to help you with that. I want you to think of alternative words and use them. لأنه when you think of alternative words, you will spend some effort. If I just say the word, that defeats the purpose. هذا ينفي الغرض من الكونفرسيشن مالتنا. We're
Yes.
هذا احنا نسميه negotiation for meaning. We're trying to get to a meaningful communication so that your delivery of the essay to the reader becomes more efficient. Artists have converted their experiences and observations to writing. Paintings and other kinds of لهنا أنا تعبت لأنه ماكو توقف بالجملة. We have to stop. Artists have converted their experiences and observations to writing, period. Painting and other kinds of creations, we cannot understand art unless we put ourselves in the shoes of the artists themselves, and that will lead us to understand the value of spending some money on it. I love this. I think it balances that, and I think this can be a very good introduction. So I want you to cut this, put it in the introduction.
Yes.
Cut
In
it.
the beginning.
I'm highlighting that. Just cut it, put it in the introduction. Now.
Okay. Okay, I will do. Okay.
Now, are we done?
Yes.
Perfect. So let's move to the next one here. Art is the result of a cumulative feeling of the artist that have been extracted over the
I will rephrase all the sentence. I think so.
Yeah, I think this discussion is just to crystallize. تتبلور. كلمة تتبلور نستخدمها بالإنجليزي هماتين. Crystallize من كلمة crystal. ما نستخدم crystal. It crystallizes also is a word that we commonly use in English when we crystallize expressions here. For example, when the National Iraqi Museum, the word National Iraqi Museum should be the Iraqi National Museum.
Yes, yes.
هو هذه معلومة أنت مو ضروري تعرفها. بس الإنجليز من يريد يضيفون مجموعة تراكمات يعني مجموعة صفات فياخذون size, age, shape, origin, materials and noun. هذا السيكونس مالتهم. فهنا when the Iraqi National Museum displays some priceless pieces of Sumerian, Akkadian, Assyrian, Babylonian eras. هنا أنت displays وما ذاك المفعول به شنو؟ المفعول به لازم يكون direct اللي هو golden money coins. When displays golden money coins from the Sumerian, Akkadian, and Assyrian eras.
Why? But I use the some priceless pieces. Displays pieces.
Yeah, but I mean, you can present this in a more
because I used pieces because it is a general word for all the statues, money coins, stamps, others, everything that I'm trying.
I'm not talking about the content. I'm talking about phrasing this to render it suitable to the native speaker's ears.
Okay.
Here I think it's not 100% accurate to describe it that way. You just need to follow the simplistic way of just saying, for example, Iraqi National Museum presents has an initiative to present coin stamps. But how is this serving the whole purpose of agreeing or disagreeing to spend money on art? How is this related?
And the last line of this sentence, when I'm saying from this presentation can be regarded as a tool of tourism activation, I agree with the first concept or the first topic headline that I agree that the government spent sum of money on art because it regards as a tool of tourism activation and the backbone of the economy.
Okay, just say that, okay? Just
Mhm.
say whatever, delete all of this, and say exactly what you just said to me.
Okay.
Because going back to my philosophy here, what are you trying to say?
Mhm.
Just say that, because what you wrote is completely different from what you just said. When you rewrite that, just delete this, rephrase the sentence on the side comment by hitting the check button here. حتى تكون عندي draft clean, so I can assume that you have completely worked on that one.
Okay.
Moving here, there is an economic theory that says that no sector is less important than other, period. Period. So not, we have a period here. It is تذكر in last meeting اتفقنا على انه هذه اللاين الاخير لازم يكون بيه فد introductions على الباراجراف اللي بعده حتى يكون اكو تناسق
Yes.
طردي. يعني مو انه okay, I'm talking about oceans and then all of a sudden I transition to talk about cinematography. That's off-putting.
So I have to use the tourism activation is an aid or a tool also of economic theory in the country.
Perfect. And you stop there, move to the next paragraph. There's an economic theory that says no sector is less important than other, period. It is a relative issue to consider spending money on more sectors such as military rather than allocating that money for the sake of art and promotions of art and art heritage and this blah, blah, blah. Okay? Moving to conclusion. Oh
Yes.
my God. Conclusion. It's actually the bread and butter of the essay. As a conclusion, the revenue that the government may collect is less affirmative. You don't have to say may. The revenues that the government collects from supporting art will certainly not it.
Okay.
Because you are referring to the revenue, so there is no necessity to use a pronoun here. It will certainly contribute to it, to strengthening the national economy. But I still don't see where the relevance is of this conclusion to the beginning of the statement that you had about whether you agree or disagree to spend money on art. I need you to add more meat here. خلينا شوية فد كيلو لحم هنا زيادة بالconclusion حتى it just gives better value to that one.
Okay.
Now I want you just to spend extra half an hour now to finalize this draft, clean it. I don't want to see any side comments on task 1.
Okay.
Deal?
Yes, deal. Of course.
You swear to God?
Yes, I swear to God.
Okay. Go to task number 2.
Before going to task number 2, Mr. Walid, how much you mark this task 1 for me?
4.5.
4.5.
Yes. 4.5 for task achievement only. I haven't marked it for grammar. I haven't marked it for
okay.
So it is just, so it is fair. It's not fair to say it's 4.5 out of 9 for all. No, because go back to the beginning. I just said task achievement because this is how I think. We just linearly, when you finish this, I assume that you have considered all my comments on the task achievement. We will go to the cohesion and coherence, and I will give you a mark here for cohesion and coherence.
Yes.
And then we move on to task to grammatical range and lexical diversity. Go to task number 2.
Yes.
Task number 2 says medical researchers, cosmetic companies, and others often perform experiments on animals. How many people? Well, many people think that the experimentation on animals is wrong and it should be stopped immediately because animals do feel pain. and there are other alternatives. Do you feel? How do you feel?
Yes.
هذا شوف هنا. How do you feel? You need to focus on that. State your position. Number 2, explain your reasons. Stick to these 3. أنا خليت لك إياهم بالخط الأصفر.
So these are the key words that I have to focus on. In the first task, it was I agree or disagree, and the task 2 I feel how I feel. Yes.
أنواع المقالات هواية. أكو emotional essays, أكو argumentative essays, أكو defense essays, أكو opinion essays. فكل مقالة إلها ستايل معين. بس هم كليتهم هذا themes, but the content is pretty much the same. You just use your defense tools to come up with a good defense and good argument for that. So in that debate, you need to develop your debate to sound more convincing and academic.
Okay.
هنا بالتاسك أنا خليت لك feedback, بس الفيدباك minimal لأنه أكو نقطة أريد أركز عليك بيها. ده تشوف everyone بالside notes أكو في شيء اسمه everyone.
Has and have.
هسه جاوبني على هاي الجملة. has لو have.
Everyone has.
You sound a little bit not sure.
No, I'm sure everyone.
So everyone, is that one or a group when you say everyone? Let's go to number 2. Each of the students is or are.
Each of the student.
Okay, see, هذه هي كلش confusing بس كلش حلوة. هذول كليتهم ياخذون
المعنيين.
No, أنا ما راح أجاوب.
No, please.
لا هذا جهدك يعني لازم نسوي بحث بس كلهم ياخذون وحدة. بس هذه ياهو أنت اكتشفها. ليش خليت لك أنا كومنت عليه؟ لأن أنت بدأت تستخدم الوحدة الصح تستخدم الثانية، فأنت رأسا اللوجيك مالتك راح يعرف المقصود يعني. كل سهلة. أوكي. أنت لو مستخدم الصح ما كان انطيتك توقف هنا. هذا يعطينا فكرة. أوكي هذه نستخدمها دائما بس بعض الاستثناءات تصير يعني English هي fluid.
But I did well to put myself in the mistake to learn for the future.
Yeah. I mean, we are all learning. By the way, when I write, I definitely get comments from people. So it's very normal. Some people are receptive to these comments. Some people are not receptive. We learning and we are having fun. Okay. Make these necessary changes and let's make another appointment to discuss paragraph number 1. I expect you to write a better draft for paragraph 1.
Okay.
Perfect. I'll be waiting for that, sir.